Hello everyone, my name is Julia and today I would like to talk about how you can find the radian of theta when a trig function is equal to a value in the unit circle. So first I would like to draw the unit circle. So here we have a unit circle. And now I can draw the lines and the radian values. So here we have the unit circle. So now I would like to actually provide 3 examples for each trig function. So one for sine theta. So here we have sine theta equals 1/2. What is theta? Well, there is going to be actually 2 different answers for theta. So I would actually like to draw just the first quadrant aside. And I showed this to you guys in the last video, but I make horizontal lines that connect to the vertical line or the y-axis, and I also make 3 others, 3 vertical lines that connect to the x-axis, and so here I just put square root of blank over 2 next to all of these 3 horizontal lines like that, and I like to think of these horizontal lines as levels. So like this is the first level, second level, and third level, and since this is the first level, I put a 1 here, second level, so a 2 here, and the third level, and so a 3 here. Now this is exactly the same for this part, except it's just all negatives. 2, and I mean, it's not all negative, it's just across. And square root of 3 over 2 is, in decimals, 0.866. And square root of 2 over 2 in decimals is 0.707. And square root of 1 over 2 is just 1/2, which is 0.5. And the 1/2 really just makes sense since the radius is 1 and it looks about half of 1 here. And the radius in the unit circle is also just 1. And so here we'll just have to find the 2 quadrants that is in the positive side of the y-axis, but not but we don't have to worry about the x-axis, since x comma y is cosine theta comma sine theta, and so the y is sine theta. And so we're going to be working with just the y-axis. So the 2 quadrants that is in the positive side of the y-axis are the first and second quadrants. So as you can see here, it's 1/2 when it's sine pi over 6. So we're not going to worry about these. And so sine pi over 6 is one of the answers, but there is one more. Pi over 6. And the way we can find the other one is just the one that is across, but has the same like negative or positive value, and it's a positive value, so we're going to get choose one from here that is across from pi over 6, which is 5 pi over 6. So this one. So now, since we have found the 2 radians to our first example, I would like to move on to another one. So sine theta is equal to, let's say, square root of 3 over 2. And again, there are 2 answers for the theta. So when does sine theta equal to square root of 3 over 2? Well, since it's a positive sign, the 2 answers are going to be in the first and second quadrant again. And as you can see, we get square root of 3 over 2 when it's sine pi over 3. And so pi over 3 is one of the answers, and the one across from it is 2 pi over 3. So we found the 2 answers, 2 pi over 3. And here is the last example for sine theta. Sine theta is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. Now, since it's a negative value, we're going to have to choose 2 quadrants that is in the negative part of the y-axis. So the third and fourth quadrant. And as you can see, we would get square root of 2 over 2 when the theta in sine theta is pi over 4. But this is a positive and we want a negative, so we're going to have to be in these 2 quadrants. So we get square root of 2 over 2 when we have sine pi over 4. And so we're going to have to, to get a negative square root of 2 over 2, we're going to have to get one that is across and one that is in the negative part of the y-axis. So this is one of the answers, and this one is another. So here, and this length is negative square root of 2 over 2. So our 2 radians are 5 pi over 4 and 11 pi over 6. 5 pi over 4 and 11 pi over 6. So now I already showed you guys how to do a series of these problems, and so now I would like to provide you guys with 3 other examples for cosine theta. So if cosine theta is equal to square root of 3 over 2, theta would be, well, we're working with cosines now, so we would have to work with the x-axis, not the y-axis. And so here, it's we square root of 3 over 2. And we have square root of 3 over 2 when we have cosine pi over 6. So pi over 6 would be one of the answers, but the other answer would be the one that is across from pi over 6, but still in the positive side of the x-axis, which is 11 pi over 6. So now here is another example for cosine theta. Cosine theta is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. What is theta? Again, there are two answers for this one. And so we would first have, so this problem is basically the same as the one that we just solved, except we have a negative here. And the two answers that we got before were pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. So what we would do here is just get the radian that is right across from each other. So for 11 pi over 6, it would be 7 pi over 6, and the one that is across from pi over 6 is 5 pi over 6. So these are the two answers for the theta, and the reason we just pick the one that is across from it is because we're now in the negative side of the x-axis, but still have the same value as the ones in the positive side of the x-axis. So 5 pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6. Here is the last example for the cosine theta. Cosine theta is equal to positive 1 over 2. And so now we're going to have to find out when the cosine theta equals to 1/2. And so 1/2 is here, and so if we just follow the vertical line, we get pi over 3. And pi over 3 is one of the answers. And so now we're just going to have to pick the one that is across from it, but still in the positive side of the x-axis. And so the one across from it is 5 pi over 3, and 5 pi over 3 is still in the positive side of the x-axis. So that's the other answer, pi over 3. So now for the last part, I would like to show you guys how you can find for the theta when tangent theta is equal to a certain value in the unit circle. So now I'll just erase these notes since we're not going to need them anymore. Okay, so I showed you guys how I like to memorize the values for tangent theta in my last video, but I'll do that again. So I first draw a vertical line right next to the unit circle, and then I just connect these lines so it connects to the vertical line that we just made. The same for the top part. And I actually just erase this part. So here I just memorized 3 things in order to memorize the values in the tangent theta. So here I know that this length is 1, and that's pretty easy to memorize since the radius of the circle is 1, so this line is 1, and it looks about like symmetrical. I just didn't really draw it correctly. And so the length here is 1 over square root of 3, and the length from here to here is square root of 3. Now it's the exact same for this part, except it's all negatives, because for an obvious reason, it's in the negative part of the graph. So negative 1 over square root of 3, negative 1, and negative square root of 3. So now that we have written all the values down, how this can help us is by, so I'll write an example. So tangent, the way we would find it for the tangent pi over 4 is by, so here's pi over 4, and so if we just follow the line, then it would give us this point, and which has a length here of 1. So tangent pi over 4 is 1, but there can be another angle that is equal to tangent pi over 4. So for this one, tangent pi over 4 is also equal to tangent 5 pi over 4, because tangent 5 pi over 4 is also 1, because so 5 pi over 4 is here, and just like we did it for pi over 4, we just follow the line, and that gives us a length of 1. And so that's why these two are equal to each other. So if we have tangent theta equals 1, then what are the 2 radians that is equal to the theta? Well, this one's easy since I just did it here. And so we know that pi over 4, that the theta can be pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. But if we hadn't done this, then we could have just saw that it was a positive, and so we're going to work with here. And so we just pick the dot with the 1 and follow the line. So this line is pi over 4. So if we keep going, we come to the line where it has a dot for 5 pi over 4. So that's how we get that. Another example can be tangent theta equals negative square root of 3. And so here, theta could be, since we're working with negatives here, we would only be paying attention to this side, since it's a negative part of the graph. And so this dot here connects to this line, and this line has a dot for 5 pi over 3, and so one of the thetas would be 5 pi over 3, and another one would be, if we keep going, so here the other answer can be 2 pi over 3. So the other one is 2 pi over 3. And for the last example, I would like to set tangent theta equal to positive 1 over square root of 3. So for this one, we can just look at the positive side, and 1 over square root of 3. So this dot here, and just follow the line here, and this line is for pi over 6, and so one of the answers is pi over 6. And if we just follow the line. It leads us to this line, which is 7^6. So that's the other answer, 7^6. And so here are the 3 examples that I provided for you guys for tangent theta. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.